Hey there, little mama. I got a question for you. Are you concerned about all the bullying that's going on in schools? The suicides that we're hearing about, the shootings. I live down here in Texas, and we had a shooting not too long ago in the south of Texas. And it just seems like this kind of thing is progressively getting worse. It can be a scary place, and it can be a scary thing. But there are people that are making a difference. And my guest today is one of those people. And we as moms can be empowered to make a difference. Moms like us, we really can make a difference. And our special guest today is going to talk to us about just exactly that. Welcome to the Moms Like Us podcast, where moms just like you learn strategies, systems, and skills through expert interviews and real-life insight designed to take your marriage, mothering, and home to the expert level. Hi, I'm Mona Corwin, your mom mentor and host, author, international speaker, and the founder of the Moms Like Us Academy. I've been coaching moms for over 25 years, and I have some really good news for you. Motherhood isn't a natural talent. It's a skill, and you can learn it. You can crush it at motherhood instead of motherhood crushing you. So let's get to today's show. Hey there. I'm so glad that you joined our show today. Just in case you forget later in the show, would you just subscribe? And you're going to want to share this with a friend, because this kind of thing is what moms like us do. We go ahead and we help one another and we share information. And that's what the Moms Like Us podcast and our academy are all about. Helping and equipping you to be the mom that you need to be for your kids in a world that's gone a little crazy, just saying. Now, my guest today is Sandy Austin, and I'm super excited for you to meet her. I'm going to read her bio because this girl has got a great one. And I want to get it all right. Okay, Sandy graduated from Green Mountain High School knowing that she's always wanted to be an educator ever since she was a little girl. And she had students taught at Columbine High School under one of her former teachers. After teaching for 10 years, Sandy got her counseling degree and returned to that same school as a school counselor. She ended up being one of the most involved school counselors within the Columbine tragedy. When the Columbine had their tragedy, they called all the counselors that they could find, and Sandy was one of those counselors that went. And after looking at all of the tragedy and all of the counselors and all of the parents, she saw that there was something deeper in the root of what was going on in our schools, and she set out to do something about it. She created something called the Bionic Team. Believe it or not, I care. And it empowers students to reach out to their peers who they see are sick, hospitalized, bullied, or have lost loved ones, preventing, the spiraling down of issues of sadness. Sandy has won many awards, and she has received the Norma Anderson Lifetime Achievement Award in Education from Colorado School Counselor Association, Rhonda Williams Life Achievement Award. In 2011, she was also recognized as American School Counselor Association finalist for the National School Counselor of the Year. Sandy was the president of CSCA twice and is currently a facilitator for ASCA, the Crisis Special Professional Interest Network. She's written 3 books, and she speaks across the country about bionic teams, bullying, suicides, and school shootings. As you can see, we have someone that is quite qualified to take care of us today on our program. I'm going to bring Sandy up out of the green room. Oh, Sandy, I am so excited to have you. Thank you for joining us today on the show.
Oh, Mona, I'm so excited. When I met you a couple of weeks ago, it's like, she's a dynamo. It's like, she's a mover and shaker. So I'm so excited to be with you and the moms today. You guys are Oh, you touch my heart. Imagining and thinking about what you're all going through right now with the beginning of the school year, whether you're sending your kids to school, if you're homeschooling, whatever your situation is. God bless you guys. You guys are the movers and shakers in this world, and there's so much on your
We
shoulders.
are.
So thank you. Yeah.
That we are. But we
Mm.
may be movers and shakers, but you're the calmer downer and the level louder. And as a school counselor, I cannot imagine you're not doing it anymore, but the
Mm.
school counselors absolutely need you. And I'm so glad that
Yeah.
they have someone like you with the experience that you have, your love, and your genuine, the way you shine. I mean, you just shine, Sandy. And I
Oh,
agree. We kind of connected at a conference that we were at, and yeah, our hearts are the same for moms and kids.
yeah.
Sandy, I know that my listeners are going to want to hear about how you ended up at Columbine on that really dreadful day.
You bet. Well, thank you, Mona. So I had student taught at Columbine. I, knowing that I wanted to be a teacher, I thought, who is my best teacher that I ever had that I could student teach under? And it was Chris Beal. And I had her as a PE teacher in middle school. And so I asked her if I could student teach under her. And so what happened is I ended up at Columbine student teaching there. And it was just an incredible experience. And I loved the at the school. I also coached basketball and coached with Dave Sanders, who will be significant later. But anyway, so it was a great experience. And then I went into teaching, and I was teaching for 10 years. And then I had a hip injury that took me out of teaching PE. And let me just say this. I know whenever I say a PE teacher, some of you have the worst images come into your mind. Maybe you hated PE. Maybe you were picked last in line, and that's just something very serious. And that's what I saw when I was a gifted athlete. And so I was kind of favored by my PE teachers. But I saw the kids that were being picked last. And I thought, I don't want to do that as a PE teacher. I don't want to embarrass anyone. I wanted, when my kids finished their semester in PE or their year in PE, I wanted them to have a positive outlook on health and fitness and that type of thing. I didn't ever want to embarrass them. I know teaching the overhand serve in volleyball, had a girl that she did it and it went 6 feet in front of her. And some of the kids laughed. And I said, "You guys don't laugh." I said, "You watch." I said, "You just watch. Watch what she's going to be doing pretty soon." So eventually she got it over that net and the whole class went, "Woo!" So, but anyway, that was my my hope and prayer for that. But anyway, so when I was after that injury and I had to have total hip replacement, I ended up back. Well, I decided to go ahead and get a school counseling degree, and because my school counselor was amazing, and so I ended up back in the district where I grew up, which was the Columbine district. And the day of the shootings, what happened is I was a counselor at Jefferson High School at that time in the district, and they put out a call to all school counselors saying, if you can be released from your school, please come over and help. And so, because some schools in the Columbine area, those counselors couldn't be released because their school needed them. And so, anyway, so I went over there and got the shooting started at 11:30. I got there at 1 and was there till 10:30 that night. And we don't have time to tell about all those stories, but it was just devastating to see what was going on there. And I'll tell you one situation. As the day was wearing on, about 3:30, the police said, "We need descriptions of your kids." At that time, everyone was coming into the Leawood Elementary gym, and they were being reunited with their families, their parents, and the kids. And so, what happened is 3:30, there weren't very many families there anymore, and probably about 20 or something like that. And so they made an announcement. We know that some kids have been killed. And they said, this is hard for us to say and hard for you guys, but they said, we need a description of what your student was wearing this morning. We need a description of them, their hair color, all that type of thing. We need to have any kind of medical, dental records, any kind of records to identify them. I mean, it's like, this is reality. And so about half an hour later, so what happened, there were about 15 circles of families there. So they were still waiting for their kids. They had not been reunited. And so what happened is, I would during that time, you can't sit down and say, how are you feeling about, you don't do that. It's just all triage type stuff. And so one family, a girl brought a blue cardboard box about that big. She brought it, gave it to her mom. Mom opened it up. It was the plaster impressions of her son's teeth, and she just took him out for dental and just held him in her hands. And that just, I lost it there, and I had to go outside, and I just started crying, and I just thought, oh my gosh. But it was something to see that. But anyway, so I ended up being one of the most involved counselors with the tragedy, because they had asked, they said, Sandy, can you stay and help for more days? And so I talked to my interim principal, and he said, Sandy, you don't know this, but I was a Columbine principal. He said, I retired from Columbine. He said, you stay over there as long as they need you. And so anyway, I just volunteered in the evenings, on the weekends, in the summer, and everything, because of that community that I'd grown to love when I student taught there. So that was my Columbine experience with that. I ended up helping with 3 other school shootings after that too.
Yeah, were those school shootings? Where were they?
They were one was in our district, and the others. So that was Deer Creek Middle School. Then one was Platte Canyon High School, which was a rural community. That was about 2007, and then the STEM shooting was very much advertised. That was about 3 years ago in south of the Denver metro area.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So you've gone through all of this on the timeline, and you're kind of thinking things through.
Yes.
What were your thoughts? I mean, obviously, this is when you came up with the bionic team,
Yes.
but how did that happen? Like, what was the process for that? Was it immediate that you had that idea, or did it kind of
No.
just,
So Right. So what happened is 2 years after the Columbine tragedy, I was back at my alma mater, at Green Mountain High School. And so we had 4 suicides in 8 months there. And I thought, as I
oh,
was
wow.
talking with the kids, I was talking with the families and remembering my Columbine experience, it's like, we're missing something. As school counselors, we were doing our curriculum, thinking it's like we're missing something, because I was finding out that the kids had talked to their friends about shooting up the school or about taking their lives. They didn't say, I'm going to commit suicide. They said, I didn't, nothing like that, but they were saying, what's the use of living, different things like that. And so I thought, the kids knew, and I thought, if we could empower the kids to reach out to their peers when they were going through tough times. All the guys, it was the shooters at Columbine were male, and the 4 students at our school that took their lives, they were males. And so all those guys, they had either dealt with being new and having a hard time connecting, and some issues with that, being sick, being bullied, or losing loved ones. And so I thought, and then what happened is they did not deal with those things, and so they spiraled down into more serious issues. And so I thought, if we could reach out to kids when they're going through that and say, you're seen, you matter, and people care about you. Targeted outreaches to, for example, we would go to the hospital and we would deliver a mug and Hershey's Kisses, and or mug and balloon if there's dietary restriction. But anyway, we would deliver that, and the parent would say, you guys are the only ones from school that visited, and you don't even know my son. They said, thank you for caring. We would go and deliver a pie to the families of loved ones, families of students that lost a loved one. And we would go there, and the kids would see and we would always let the parents know all this stuff ahead of time. We knew that would be hard for them, but they would see the tears in the family saying, thank you for caring. Thank you for reaching out. And so that's what Bionic does. Is what was amazing is I led Bionic teams at Green Mountain for 10 years, and then transferred to Pomona High School in Arvada, Colorado. And they wanted a Bionic team too. So for those 14 years, I had about 1,200 kids that were on the Bionic teams, and they reached out to over 140,000 people, students, peers, school staff, families, community members. We even reached out to where there was a school shooting in Germany and Rio de Janeiro and Paris and other places. The kids just kept coming up with all these ideas of other outreaches. I said, okay, you guys, we can't do all those things or else you would not be in classes. Your priority is your classes. But it was incredible. It's like the kids got their eyes off their phones and looked around to see the needs out there. And they said, we want to reach out to as many people as we can to let people know that people care about them. It just, oh gosh, Mona, I am not a mom. God has not blessed me with finding that right man yet. I don't know. He still could. But the situation is that I've had thousands of kids through the years, and my bionic students are incredible, and they're still reaching out. The oldest ones are 35 years old, and they're still reaching out. What they did during COVID, it's like, and they're teaching their own kids these bionic things. They teach their kids what to say to someone if they've lost a loved one, how to sense if someone is new and reach out to them. It's just incredible. So anyway, sorry, I could go on forever, girl.
No, well, we want to hear it. We definitely want to hear it, and we're going to hear how it works in just a minute. And
Mm.
I'm going to put a link, moms, for you to see the video of all about what it is and how you can do something like that in your school. And it will be in the show notes so that you can get a hold of this amazing program. The thing that caught my eye when I thought about it was that kids naturally feel bad when someone else's feels bad, but they didn't have a track to run it on. They didn't have they didn't know what to do. And this
Right.
program literally gave them something to grab onto and say, this is what we can do.
Right.
I know that kids get a rap for being for not having much empathy or much compassion, and kids can be super selfish, especially when they're teenagers. We always, whatever teenager we have, we always call it Molly World or Mallory World or Max World because they're in their own world. They're
Yeah.
learning about their world, and they're getting ready to move out of your world into truly their own world. But you did something different. You opened their eyes and taught them empathy and compassion.
Oh,
And so that when they do go out into the world of their school or what else, it becomes their world. And
yes.
they see other people truly as with compassion.
Mm.
I'm I think this is one of the most wonderful things that I've heard in a really, really long
Mm.
time, Sandy. I
Mm.
absolutely love it.
Oh, thank
When
you.
the what was the first group like that came through
Oh,
your bionic program? You can even tell about what they do. Why don't you tell what they do, and then we'll talk about the first group, or you can intertwine it
okay.
as you talk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So let me tell you, people say, well, where did the name come from? So what happened is I was student body vice president in high school, and I heard a speaker named Dr. Earl Room come and speak to us. And he said, he said, a lot of adults think that kids only care about themselves. He said, that's not true. You guys are in student council and you want to make a difference. He said, I want to challenge you. Now, this is going to date me because of the TV show $6 Million Man. He said, I want to challenge you to become bionic people and say, believe it or not, I care with your lives. He said, shock the adults with how much you could care. That became my life motto that day. And I just thought, that was perfect. Like, okay. So anyway, but let me tell you a situation, the other day. So what Bionic does is we have different individual teams within the Bionic team that addresses different needs. Now, all of our schools, so we have schools across the world now, elementary through college, bionic teams, and we tell the schools, you do what you can do. I just met with an elementary school last week, and they can only do the new student team and the 1010 eye care day. So how our programming goes is we have a new student team where the school has either a breakfast or lunch every month to welcome all the new students in and try to connect them with the kids. As our kids are meeting them, as our bionic kids are meeting them, we're asking them, what kind of activities would you like to be involved in here? What do you enjoy? Are you in choir? Do you like anime? Do you like sports? What do you like? And then we help connect them with those people. And every one of these teams was a reason why one of the guys took their lives at Green Mountain. And so that's our
Really?
home, is to connect the kids. And so anyway, I don't have time to probably go into all those stories, but so that's it. That's what we do, is take the kids on a tour, help to connect them with other kids in those areas of interest for them. We also have an extended illness team, and what that is when we hear that a student has been gone 5 or more days, what we do is we send a get well packet with an encouraging, inspirational letter, a personalized card for them, some tutoring information, homework helps, all those types of things, and of course a bionic brochure and a and that type of thing. So we mail that to them when we hear they've been gone 5 days. Now, sometimes the kid comes back to school that next day, but they get that in the mail, and they still need to make up work, and that'll just help them in their recovery and everything. Then we have the hospitalization team, and so we couldn't do this during COVID, of course, but what we do is when we hear a student is in the hospital again, we rally everyone and try to get to the hospital that next day to visit them, like I mentioned before. And then we have prevent bullying by just saying hi. And what that is, it's a simple, boy, being a counselor 21 years, I was hearing of all these programs out there, and it's like, I knew that we had to have a bully prevention aspect of bionics, since hello, we're trying to create more caring climates in schools. But I kept hearing about all these programs. It's like it cost $5,000 or took a whole semester to train kids. It's like, and then it's a list of 12 things to do. It's like kids can't remember that, staff can't remember that, parents can't remember that. So I thought, I just actually prayed and got the idea of prevent bullying by just saying hi. So H is help. If you see bullying at school or online, get help from an adult. I was peer counseling co-sponsor before Bionic, and we were trying to teach kids how to do mediation. It wasn't working. We thought it was. We would say it was, but it wasn't doing what we had hoped. And when I wanted to start Bionic, I said, "Hey," I talked to the peer counselors. I said, "Hey, you guys, I see these are the types of kids that are really needing some individual outreaches." I said, "What do you think? Do you want to do it?" They said, "Miss Austin, we would love to. We just don't have time." And so that's when I said, "Okay, I've got to start a new club." And that's when I started Bionic. But anyway, so for the prevent bullying by just saying hi. Again, H's get help from an adult, because the adults know what to do. If they're seeing bullying, they can help stop it right then. Or if it is happened in the past or they've seen it online, the adults know what to do to stop it, to deal with the bully and the bullied student and help bullied student. So that's good. They're taking care of that. But for the kids, the most important part is I initiate contact with that bullied student, hopefully sometime that day, to say, "I saw what happened and you didn't deserve it. It was wrong." Or if they saw it online, message them. And they may not want to do it on the, for everyone to say. They may do a personal message to them and say, "Hey, that was wrong. Hey, I walk down the hall that same time every day. Do you want me to walk down the hall with you? Or I see you're eating lunch alone. Would you like to eat lunch with my friends? Or can I eat lunch with you?" But encouraging the kids to reach out in a different way, so that it helps the kids save face, knowing, okay, there is support for me at school, there are people that care. And then so that's prevent bullying by just saying hi. And then the loss outreaches, like I mentioned, we have other things. We reach out to other schools that experience tragedy. We send a big 30-foot poster. The elementary send a smaller one typically, but a 30-foot poster, we put it in our cafeteria when we hear of a tragedy nationally. And we have to be careful, because there are things happening all the time. So when we have time and we're able to, we send a poster to that school to say, "We're thinking about you." That whole idea came from Columbine, but I don't think we have time to share that too with everything else I'm sharing. But anyway, so we do that. Then we have, what's exciting is 1010 Eye Care Day, and what's happening with that is on October 10th. We encourage everyone, the schools, businesses, families, churches, organizations, to do 10 things that day, one thing each hour, to make a difference in 10 people's lives. So we give examples, like for the kids, we say, "Okay, you guys, at 7 o'clock in the morning, call your grandma and tell her you love her. At 8 o'clock, before you leave to school, put a Hershey's Kiss on every family member's pillow. When you get to school, bring a flower for the secretary. The next hour, give a thank you card to the teacher. Next hour, give a kind candy bar to your friend." Different things all day long. So there are individual outreaches, but then we have group outreaches, where at the end of the day, we would always we'd take a big a platter of cookies to the fire department and the police department. And then the football team one time went and raked the leaves of an elderly person near the school that they saw there were a lot of things. So anyway, so that's 1010 Eye Care Day. We have other things. There's the intergenerational team, and what that is there was a lady at a senior living center about an hour away. She called. She heard me on a little radio show, and she said, "Sandy, I want to start a bionic team here at my senior living center. Can I do it? Do I have permission?" I said, "Yes. Tell me what you're thinking." And she was just saying that when the residents come, they've either lost a spouse or they're getting memory issues, and so they just hole up in their room and they don't come out. And so they said, if we had a bionic team here, we could reach out to them and invite them to lunch and introduce them to people and everything, make them feel loved. If they go to the hospital, when they come back, we can give them a hospitalization mug or something like that, a little gift for them if they lose loved ones, or when that resident passes away, we can reach out to their families and everything. And she talked about doing some things in the community too, but she said, but we want to spend time with your kids. Can we come? I said, do you realize it'll take an hour to drive up and an hour back? She said, yep, I don't care. So we started doing table talks, monthly table talks, where we would bring them in and they would have lunch with our bionic members, and they would ask questions. We'd ask questions related to the holiday of that month. So the very first question we asked is, if you could have lunch with anyone throughout history, living or dead, who would it be and why? And they said the seniors were saying Elvis Presley, Marilyn Monroe, Abraham Lincoln. Our kids are going Justin Bieber, Ariana Grande. I thought, how is this going to work? Oh my gosh, Mona, the stories were incredible. I'll tell you one. A girl came to me after the December Bionic intergenerational team table talk. She goes, Miss Austin, I can't wait for Christmas. I said, why? She said, Thanksgiving. My grandma was at Thanksgiving with us, and we heard she was starting to get dementia. She said, me and my cousins, we didn't want to do the wrong thing, so we didn't talk to her. And she said, we went the whole day not talking to my grandma. And she said, Miss Austin, now I know what to do for Christmas. She said, after seeing, there was one lady that kept answering the same answer for every question. And she said, seeing how the staff were talking to her and valuing her and encouraging her, now I know what to do for my grandma at Christmas. And she goes, I'm going to teach all my cousins, we're going to love on my grandma for Christmas. After the holiday, after we got back to school, her mom called me in tears. She said, Sandy, I don't know what you're doing there with Bionic, but you are doing miracles. She said, my daughter taught all of her cousins at Christmas how to reach out to my mom. It was her mom. And
Oh,
she said, all of us adults even learned from her. And so we were really loving on my mom and everything. And she said, Sandy, it was powerful. She said, I got a call from my mom after I dropped her off that night. My mom called me in tears. And she said, honey, I just want to say thank you. I don't know what happened to your daughter, but she said, I saw what she was doing. I saw her kind of telling kids that the cousins to come and talk. And she said, I felt more love than ever before in my life. She said, after what happened at Thanksgiving, I was thinking this morning about pretending that I was sick so I wouldn't have to go today. She said, I didn't want to go through what I went through at Thanksgiving. That was so hard. And she said, I cried for days after that. And she said, but I felt more love than ever before after today. And she said, thank you, honey. I love you. And so it was precious. But anyway, I just talked forever about what we do with Bionic. So we tell the schools, you do whatever you can do. You don't have to do all those different activities, but we tell our school advisors, the people that lead the Bionic teams in schools, are typically school counselors or teachers. Some administrators are doing it, or paraprofessionals, secretaries. So what we do is we tell those staff members, we say, what is happening in your school? What's going on? Are there tragedies? What's happening in your community? And then you decide what you want to do for your bionic outreaches with your bionic team.
wow, you have covered it. You have covered the gamut. I like to I just this is what it's the kind of the opposite of what's going on in our world today. Seems like
Yes.
everybody's focus is on the negative and the worst part of things. And the solutions are always argued about and this and that. But this actually is a solution
Yes.
everybody benefits from. And isn't this the kind of stuff we want taught in our schools? Isn't this the kind of stuff we want our children to learn? Isn't this the kind of stuff that's more valuable than some of the other things they might be teaching them?
Mm.
And I I just I'm just shaking my head going, what school can we get this into? For those of you that are in the Moms Like Us Academy, Sandy is going to be teaching a master class on bullying, and you'll be getting some really applicable stuff on how you can relate to your kids through bullying, or if they're bullied and if they are a bully. So
Mm,
if you're not in the academy, I hope that you will get on the wait list for the Moms Like Us Academy. It is
mm,
open every so often, and then the doors close because that's when I go in and I literally am there for the moms. And it's a trusted online space
mm,
for getting skills and strategies and systems so that you can take your motherhood to the expert level,
mm.
because we haven't learned everything that we need to know in schools.
No,
And
no.
it's like I always say, motherhood is not a natural talent. It is a skill, and you can learn it. And
Mm,
so that link will also be in the show notes. But
mm.
Sandy, for now, what is the process to get this implemented into schools? Is there a cost? What is the process?
You bet. So what it is it costs $400 for a bionic team that we charge the schools. It actually costs about $2,000 for us with our time, with the staff, with all the materials and everything we give. But I don't want um, a school counselor, the bionic teams, the teachers. I don't want them all sitting there doing all these car washes and bake sales to try to come up with the money. A lot of our competitors, like I said, charge 5,000, 2,000, but I don't want that to happen. And so, anyway, what we do is we try to get people to help support and donate to make a difference with that, but cover that difference. So, anyway, how people can go, they can either email me at sandy@bionicteam.org, SANDY, and we can get them the information. Go to our bionicteam.org website, and on there, you can look on there. You can click on for information. But I would say for your moms, just email me, and I will reply. I'll get word out to you. So what you would do, what I encourage you to do, is think about the staff at the school. You know who's a caring staff. It could be the nurse, it could be a secretary, it could be the counselor, it could be a teacher. So think about who out there is really caring, and talk to the other moms in your area, and they know. Go to the PTA and say, hey, this I heard about this program, and go to bionicteam.org, and the video, the 2-minute video that Mona, that you're going to be sharing with everyone, that's on our front page of our website, and so that's where you can go there. But what you can do is go on to bionicteam.org, and then there's a programs page. Go down to Bionic School Teams, and there's a link there about how to start a bionic team. So, but what can happen is some of the teachers may feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do another thing. But what's amazing is, as parents, as moms, you can say, hey, we will help you. That happened with a couple schools recently. They met me at a booth at an exhibit, a Taste of the West type situation. They went to their school and said, we want this. And so it happened, and they're very supportive to help roll it out. And so that the staff will like to know if you're willing to help, like drive the kids to the hospital, or for the pie deliveries, or help the kids, help cut out different items, cards and things like that for the outreaches and that type of thing. So they will really appreciate your help on that. So hopefully that answered the question.
Absolutely. That is
All right.
so, so good. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Oh, you're
What
welcome,
you're
Mona.
doing is really a blessing, and it is what our society really needs to really communicate that love and that caring
Mm,
for kids in the schools. And
mm.
I just thank you so much. Thank you
You
so
bet.
much
Can
for
I share
coming.
one more quick story?
Yes,
Do you have
yes,
time?
I'd
Okay.
love to.
This shows the power of bionic. So we have an elementary school and a middle school that are articulation schools, and they both have bionic teams. So the middle school kids go down and train the elementary kids how to do the bionic outreaches. Oh my gosh, this just blew my heart away. So 3 years ago, I went to them to watch the middle school kids train them, and so they were teaching the kids how to reach out for new students. Here, a kindergartner, Maria. So she's practicing what to say to a new student. So here she is. Hi, I'm Maria. Welcome to our school. Where did you come from? Oh, you guys, a kindergartner. She is going to learn bionic outreaches all the way through eighth grade. Through 9 years of her life, she's going to be learning how to do that type of stuff. It's like that encapsulates everything of bionic. These kids learning how to reach out to someone starting at kindergarten. It's just incredible. So anyway, Mona, it's been such a pleasure to be with you and your moms today. And moms, you guys hang in there. My heart goes out to you, and you have the most important job in the world. So thank you and bless you.
Thank you for partnering with moms and parents. It is just a blessing.
Thank you.
Well, my little mamas, what we have learned today is that it matters. It matters saying hi. It matters. The little things really do matter. And a program like this will being implemented into your schools and even into your churches can make the difference for a kid that is maybe on the fringe. There's never been a time in our culture when kids are more anxious and more sad, and they're getting lost in the hustle and bustle online and with everything else that's going on. So moms like us, we matter. Sandy's right. You do matter. Your mothering matters, your marriage matters, and you matter. And you can make a difference. So it's just like this. Moms like us, we got to do things like this. And I hope that you'll join us next time on our show, because when moms like us do things like this on a podcast or a show, we want you there with us. Have a great day. Bye for now.